Good morning, folks. It's the day after another loss to the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Having my morning coffee. I can't go walking the dog today. Usually I talk walking the dog, but it's pouring rain out. So I don't really mind that because we really need the rain badly. You may wonder why I'm wearing green today. Well, as far as I'm concerned, I couldn't be any more prouder of the Saskatchewan Roughriders than I am today. They played one hell of a game and never gave up, even after some disasters we'll get into later. We've got a team that can win it all, and that's all you can ask. I want to be wearing my black when they play a crap game. They only had, as far as I'm concerned, we only really have one of those, and that was against the Elks. Almost said Eskimos again. Maybe he'll change his name back there too, the new owner. But anyway, couldn't be any more proud. They just played one hell of a game, and they could have given up, especially on some plays. I'll get into that later, but overall they played damn good. And I guess the first thing to deal with in this video is the bloody command center. They've cost us so many games already. Calls early went a bit for us, I have to admit. But since then, these losses and ties, and they've just cost us game after game. And it's not the reason we lost. I'll get into that later. We've seen my video earlier of Alexander tiptoeing along the sidelines. Well, he tiptoed out of bounds. Simple as that. The command center missed it. I blame it. Maybe the CFL said speed up your calls. Well, they sped it up and got it wrong. It didn't take long to make all these calls to talk about. That's one good positive. But TSN shows that he's inbounds. Just go to my videos, it shows it. But when he's continuing towards the end zone, his foot turns slightly right. And it makes sense. He's pushing off of it. You got to turn your toe slightly right, and then he's on the bloody out of bounds line. There's no doubt about it. These pitches aren't fake. And then people say it's a different angle. It's the same angles they just showed where the foot was inbounds. But and then what's the other one that the command center bumped into? Oh, the fumble. At the end of the game, game's over. We recover the fumble, and they call it back, and on the field, they call it a turnover. So it has to be reviewed, of course. Goes to review. Well, they got it right. They got that one right. The ball touched the ground. But command center has to get in on these things, and especially the one where Cox pulls down Alexander from behind. At first, an open play, it looked like he actually had him by the number 10. And it was lower below the collar, but when they turned it around, slowed it down, it looks like he actually has a bit of his collar up top there. But Prulo, who's hated by Rough Rider fans, I don't mind him. He's as good as the next one as far as I'm concerned. He does as good a job as the next one, but he doesn't call it. He's the guy that got the best view of it. He's here to my window there, away from the play. And they call that one, again, cost us big time. But the one that really irritated me the most was the pass interference on Sales with Rambo. Mace, of course, challenges it, and he should. The announcers even say, man, oh man, Rambo embellished it. He should get an acting award. You can see it, it's obvious, And plus, whatever happened to the ball has to be catchable. They've turned out many of them and had different outcomes when the ball's not even catchable. He didn't slow him down until he couldn't catch it. The ball was a mile overthrown. He couldn't have caught it even if Sales wasn't there. Sales had blanket coverage on him, and Rambo's the guy that initiates the contact by putting his arm back out on him, and Sales has his arm on top of his. He doesn't push him. He doesn't do anything. Rambo just does an acting job. They should see that in the command center. But, like I said on previous videos, that is the CFL's fault. Early on in the season, they decided that if you barely touch this guy, this receiver, we're going to call it. We're going to call it pass interference. And they're not letting any hand play or any interaction. And I believe it was the Winnipeg game that was the case where they got a call. The guy just barely rubbed his arm and before the ball got there. And they called it. And I said right from that point, I said, command center, if you're going to call it like that all season, we're going to be in trouble. You know, like, you can't do it. NFL is laughing at us with that stupid, how they call our pass interference in the CFL. It's enough complaining about the command center. That's about the only ones I can think of. That's enough of them already. Like I said, I couldn't be any more prouder of the Rough Riders. They played a hard-nosed game. A hard-nosed game on the line. Mika and Sanders and Cox, and then the offensive line. Kudos to you. 2 thumbs up, buddy. 2 thumbs up. They kept Harris up. Mayo kept him out of trouble, and Harris played well. That's if he can play that good against that good a defense, we're gonna be there, folks. We are gonna be there. You know, it's just a few things have to turn our way. Yeah, I don't know what other things. I guess get to the real reason we lost is because of poor Lawther. Had a terrible day. Terrible day. Missed 4 field goals and then 1 gets run back. You know, it was the longest field goal, and the guys just missed the returner. Oh, it was hard to watch. I almost threw up. Anyway, that's the reason we lost, you know, like, I brought this earlier on in this, way back in my training camp videos. If you go back, one of the first things I noticed, well, man, they got a backup punter, but they got a backup field goal kicker out there challenging Lawther. There was nobody ever showed up in camp. Nobody. Not a soul. And I'm going, oh, this is strange, you know, like at least have somebody pressuring them, you know. I'm going, and then look at what's happening. We don't have a backup. You know, it's terrible. That's a no-day blunder as far as I'm concerned. Like, how much does it cost to keep a bloody backup field goal kicker? We got a backup punting, which is less critical than a field goal kicker. I said earlier in the season too, Lawther even cost us the pre-games, you know, Winnipeg, and a few other points it cost us. I'm going, it's hard for a kicker once he gets into a groove, out of the groove, it gets into his head. The same as goalies or a scorer in the NHL. If things aren't going wrong, it gets worse and worse, and it's just a known fact, and we got nobody to replace him. Like, it's a bad situation. Like, all we can hope for is he can turn it around, but he cost us. Didn't he miss 2 field goals in the last Montreal game? One of the reasons. I'll have to go back and look. I'm sure that he missed 2 in the last one against Montreal. But there's a few other things that bothered me. They've got Amari Henderson had just a horrible game. Like, he cost us 4 big plays. He had 1 good knockdown in the end zone in the 3rd quarter, but it was costly. And the other one where that one was run back, we were marching pretty good, and Baines had one right in his mitts, right in over the center there, dropped it. That's what caused us to have to kick the field goal and miss it. You know, that was another bad play. But, you know, I was mad at bloody Alfred. You know, like on the single point, I figured, oh man, this could like get that one out of the end zone. They're a long ways away from you. You can at least get to the 15, you know, somewhere in there on that play. You know, I didn't like that. And the other one I didn't see was that illegal contact of the official again. Well, this seems to be, it got called in the game previous, you know. Yeah, like I said, Harris, I'm really happy how Harris played, you know. Harris played decent for sitting out that long, and he played good, and the O-line played exceptionally good, and we had receivers well into the big yardage in receptions. AJ, the only thing, AJ actually run the ball pretty good. I think he only averaged about 4.5 yards. Where Hickson was doing better than that, you know. Why wouldn't they at least put him in there? They don't use that Ratkovich much anyway. They might as well put Frankie in there. And but AJ, right from the beginning of the year, it seemed like he was hurt. He's been hurt. You know, like how many times does he get up limping? And I thought that one time when he extended it there, and I think that was the third quarter too, when he takes a wicked one and flies in the air and lands on his back, I figured he wasn't getting up. I know he's a tough bugger, but to me, he's hampered. Like so many plays, you know, like not just this game, it's right from the get-go. He seemed to always be getting up and limping and walks like I do, you know. Bad back. You know, maybe he is hurt. Now some saying maybe Lawther's hurt. No, but that's why you need a backup bloody field goal kicker. That's about, I don't know, I can't think of much more. I'm just getting more frustrated. It's the first time I've been walking around my TV room there just shaking my head. I'm going, not again. Especially on that last drive. It was just like a clone of the game before, where we have him contained. Alexander gets out of containment and then makes a big pass downfield. We just missed him in the pocket. Just missed him in the pocket. Yeah, the only thing, like I said, that Henderson, I don't know why. Like, Deontay Williams was in most of the games we won early, and then he got hurt. He's never been seen again. He's okay to go as far as I'm concerned. And I don't know, like they just show him available, so I don't know. Beyond me. I don't know. I got nothing more, I guess. I know I've been complaining too much about that command center, but it's not just our team. It seems to be just a plague through the whole bloody league. Everybody's just waiting after a field goal, after a scoring play or a turnover. Well, what is the command center going to do? This wasn't the initial thing for command centers. It wasn't brought in for that. Like I agree with you should just hit the command center up when they throw a challenge flag. You know, like a lot of these ones, like the horse collar cost us. They would have probably ended up punting and cost us there. Too frustrated, folks. I'm just too frustrated. I shouldn't have actually made this video. Too bloody emotional. I was heartbroken. But there is hope. You know, we got a team. Anyway, I better go here. Take care till next time. Go Riders, go.